Good evening, everyone. Amy here from Amy's Got Life Coaching. I'm so glad you could join me this evening. I want to share a little bit about why we stay stuck. What is going on here when we want to change, when we want to lose some weight or something. And I have some great information for you that I'd love to share. So before I get into that, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Amy of Amy's Got Life Coaching. I'm a life coach as well as a weight loss coach. I myself have lost 80 pounds with the help of a life coach and have kept it off for the past 3 years. So my favorite people to work with are women over 50. If you're in that category, that's me. I just turned 59 last week. I started this work, I started with my weight loss journey about 5 years ago when I was around 55, and found the No BS weight loss program and learned some amazing tools as well as some mindset tools through that program. And I loved it so much that I got certified as a life coach and got certified in October, was in the June group of the Life Coach School last June. So it's almost a year ago that I attended a live training to learn these tools. So that's who I love to help. I can help you if you have a desire for something more in your life. And so that's what I want to talk about tonight, is how often that we say we want something more. We want to lose a little bit of weight, maybe make a little bit more money, maybe improve our relationships, or do a better job in our business or in our work, or be a better employee or employer. So I want to focus tonight on a little bit about weight loss and how I have used a specific tool that has helped me in my weight loss journey. And that is having to do with when we think about, we have these great intentions, but we end up always going back to the same old patterns. So we have the desire to change and the intention to not overeat, or to leave some bites behind, or wait till we're a little more hungry. But instead of eating that salad that we planned, we end up face down in a plate of mac and cheese by the end of the day. And you think, what is going on? I'm never going to change. It's always the same old pattern. Why am I doing this? It's because of our habit brain, my friends. It's very loud. Lives back here, back in the limbic system. And basically, it's if you can just picture like a toddler, basically, maybe even a toddler with a knife, a toddler who's just kind of out of control, wants what they want right now. That's the habit brain. That's kind of like they're emotional. Think about how toddlers are. They have tantrums, they're emotional, they want what they want right now, and if they don't get it, they put up a big fuss. That's your habit brain, my friends. So what happens is the habit brain throws up a fuss. The habits brain job is to keep us safe. It's where our emotions live. It's also very important for the fight or flight process, and it keeps us safe and wants us to conserve as much energy as possible. And what that looks like is right here. I don't know if this is the right way around. Hopefully it is. Let me just see something here. Hang on one second. Okay, no, that's not it. I just realized something. We're just going to go with it. Picture a triangle. The job of the habit brain or the toddler brain is to seek pleasure, to avoid pain, and conserve energy. That is what the habit brain's job is. And it worked for a while. It's a primitive part of our brain that had a very important job. And the important job was to keep us safe, to keep us away from danger, like a saber-toothed tiger or hunters from the opposing tribe, or free from eating berries that are poisonous. And so what happens is we avoid pain by staying sort of like in the cave, or we seek pleasure because that's why we would have the urge to eat. If we didn't have that pleasure and we wouldn't want to eat at all, we would starve. So we kind of need it, but it's sort of like works great until you want to have a bigger goal. So let's just play around with this a little bit. The habit brain is loud. It keeps us safe. It wants to seek pleasure, avoid pain, find ways to conserve as much energy as possible. And so it's not as helpful as it when we want to have a focus on something more. So until you want to change. So what happens is with the habit brain, it's, I kind of lost my train of thought. Hang on. Let me think. I was going to say something very poignant at that moment, but basically the problem is that the dangers it was trying to keep us safe from don't exist any longer. Right now we have air conditioning. We have houses that have windows. We don't have to fear, the natural world. And so it's not super helpful anymore when you want something more. So I will just offer this, that when you want to change, we need to kind of override that. And so I'm going to tell you how. So the way we override what the habit brain is telling us is kind of like the opposite of what the habit brain does, which is what we really want. To get what we really want, we may have to embrace some discomfort, delay gratification, and expend a little bit more energy. And here's why this matters. When I was having struggles with losing weight, I would tell myself that I just didn't have enough self-discipline, or that I was lazy and didn't want to exercise, or that I, just didn't have the fortitude or discipline to eat the right foods or stop at eating enough. The truth was, I was genuinely fearful of starving. I mean, genuine fear. So the way it looked for me was something like this. I would be fearful of losing weight, of starving. Sorry, I'd be fearful of starvation. My toddler brain in the back would be like, you're going to starve. Oh my gosh, you better eat. It's really important that you eat every minute. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We can't be hungry. Hunger is safe. Danger, danger, danger. And I would be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I better eat because I'm going to die. If I really will. I'll die if I starve. Mind you, I was like 80 pounds overweight. So the chances of me starving, very slim. Now I know this, but at the time I truly believed it. It's just that I believed my toddler brain. Or my toddler brain would throw up, you know what? Let's just lay on the couch. Let's just watch some Netflix. That's what we want to do. And I'd be like, oh, yep, okay, yep. That's true. It's much more fun to do that because I was avoiding pain, seeking pleasure, basically just not arguing with the toddler brain. And that's why we feel like it's so hard to change. That's why we want to. Just like that's our comfort zone. We're going to always want that, right? Which is to just seek pleasure, avoid the pain, and conserve the energy, which leads to binging on any type of television or scrolling or things like that. So once I understood listening to that toddler in my brain and doing what that toddler wanted me to do, realizing that, wait a minute, hang on, I've got this up here, PFC, prefrontal cortex. I can actually tell my toddler to say, you know what? Just like a parent would tell a toddler, honey, it's okay. First of all, you're safe. You're not going to starve. We can wait till tomorrow. How about we have the ice cream later? Just think about how you would talk to a toddler. And that's how I genuinely started talking to myself. And I still do, actually. So when the toddler asks for, I would think it's time for ice cream. Ice cream is so good. Yummy, yummy. Let's do it. I learned to tell myself, okay, yes, ice cream is good, honey. But what else do I want? That, yes, I want this ice cream, but is there something more that I want? And so that's where those compelling reasons come in. And so we spoke about that a few weeks ago, about coming up with a really good list of all the reasons why you want your goal, whatever the goal is. In my case, it was losing weight. So I came up with a lot of really good, solid reasons so that when the toddler would come up and say, doesn't that sound good to have ice cream? I could respond by saying yes, and I also want something more in my life. What would be even better is being able to ride a bike without getting winded, get to the top of the steps without, feeling like I was going to die, would be to fit in some smaller clothes. That's also what I want. And so once I learned about some of my compelling reasons and got those centered, that was enabled me to kind of like manage my mind a little bit while the toddler brain was throwing up a fit about not eating the ice cream or the cake or whatever. Let's see. That worked. Let's see. Couple little notes here. So understanding the way our brains function is super important. And let me just say this. very often, especially like I mentioned before, I thought it was a lack of discipline. I thought it was laziness. I thought it was just I didn't have the fortitude or backbone to be able to do what I was supposed to, what I really wanted to do. That there was something lacking in me, something morally lacking in me, as opposed to realizing now that from a place of love, from a place of compassion, oh, the toddler brain is thinking that I'm in danger. That's why it's that urge to overeat, or that's why it's that it's throwing up these thoughts about wanting to make sure that I'm safe and not try to take a risk. That's why trying something new, trying a new vegetable seems like very dangerous and scary, or maybe working out a little bit and trying some exercise and things like that might be not, helpful or whatever. So after we learn that we might be judging ourselves and get off that shame train and just learn to have compassion for that and realize, oh, this is just the brain being a brain. The brains are braining, as a coach colleague says. Brains just love to brain. They do, and it's your toddler brain just making a fuss. So after we learn not to judge it, then we can drop into, okay, I see what's happening here, and we get to direct our toddler with our prefrontal cortex. So the toddler's in here having a fit. Prefrontal cortex gets to direct. It's where executive function lives. It's where decision making lives. And it's the secret sauce to getting your dreams. It really is. So after we let go of that judgment, we can make it easier to grab some healthier food, or instead of going to McDonald's for a quick meal, heading for home. So this is what I do. I help my clients to figure out what works best for them. So because I work one-on-one, we can kind of tailor a plan of action for you that works the best for you, and a way for you to learn how to manage your mind, your toddler, your inner toddler, to come up with some ways that you can sort of hack it and make things even easier. So we do want to have ease, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong to try to make eating healthy choices easier. That's actually a good thing. Sometimes we get under this idea that if it's not hard, then it's not going to be worth it. Or if we're not mean to ourselves, we're never going to lose the weight. Or if we don't treat ourselves with compassion, we're not going to stick with it. That's all not true. It's the opposite is true. Because we want to avoid the pain. We still will want to avoid pain and make things as easy as possible and conserve energy. And here's the trick, is I teach you how to make that work for you. I teach you how to make it easy to create meals ahead of time, so that when you're at the end of the day and you want to grab a salad, they're already pre-made and done for you. So it's just as easy to grab a salad as it is a bag of chips. That's how I hack it. That's how I hack my brain. So that's what it looks like for me. I make my salads ahead of time. I love it. It works out great. I prep as much healthy food ahead of time because I know that when Wednesday at 5 comes, I'm going to be so thankful that my Sunday girl, I do it on Sunday, and my Sunday girl had my back. I learned that that's my self-care, that's what I love to do for myself and set myself up for future success. So I prep my meals on Sundays. I do some salads in individual containers. I love it. Not everybody does. These are my hacks for me. People often think that they get soggy. Mine do not. I don't know if maybe I'm not super fussy, but I just put lettuce and some vegetables in there, whatever you want. Sometimes I'll put beans or corn or whatever fun thing. If I think it's going to get soggy, I'll just save that and throw it on later. I usually put salad dressing on later. Even if it's less than perfect, it works for me. It's enough that it works for me. I just noticed that I was making excuses before by saying, oh, but it's not fresh. But the truth is I would never make the salads anyway. So if I'm going to actually eat a salad, it's going to have to be made on Sunday for me. The other hack I do is I hard boil some eggs on Sundays because not that I'm a big fan of hard boiled eggs. Let me just say, they kind of gag me, but they're a great source of protein. They're portable. They're convenient. They're already in the fridge, ready to go. So I use them as an extra added protein for my breakfast sometimes. I'll just eat them just out of the shell from breakfast. I also can you can add them to salads to bulk up your salad and make it a little more protein for your salad. Of course, you can make egg salad sandwiches. That's always handy. That's lovely. The other thing I do is I measure my water each day. I talked about that at a former live. So here's my little jug, and I marked it at 64 ounces. And when that's empty, I know I have done it. So what I love about it is it's easy. Again, avoid pain, conserve energy, seek pleasure, right? So it's a great, easy way for me to keep track of how much water I'm drinking each day and make sure I get all my water in. I also pick one main meal for dinner each week. And this might not be for everyone, but for me and our time in life, it works great. Turns out my husband and I really don't like the same foods. When I was first married, I was under the impression that I was morally bankrupt if I didn't come up with a gourmet meal each night. And so I learned how to let that go, thankfully, because it never happened anyway. The truth is we would just eat junk food, or I would eat out, or I would, hence the extra 80 pounds, right? So what helped me is to let go of that unrealistic expectation and take that pressure of performing, especially as a woman. You feel like, oh, but I should love to cook. Truth is, frankly, between you and me, I don't really love to cook. So sometimes I'll get pre-made meals from the grocery store or Costco. Sometimes I'll just, I do cook. I make soup or quiche or chili or something like that. But I'll eat the same thing every day. Doesn't bother me. So, and the other thing is that I understand this is not for everyone, but my husband and I, we're empty nesters. Our son has moved out. So he lives in Philadelphia. Yay, let's hear it for Philly. So it's just the two of us. And so he loves his food and I love my food. And he is fantastic and makes his own dinner. God bless him. Usually it's tacos. Pretty much every night it's tacos for him. That's what he likes. It's so funny because when I think about when I was first married, if you look at a Venn diagram, that's the thing with the two circles, the things that overlap in the middle, like the little area where like my favorite food and his favorite food, it was very few things. Like we would have been, and we did end up eating the same things every night because there are very few things that we like really both love. Once in a while it happens, but the truth is it has been so freeing for me just to make my own food. I ate what I love, and here's why it's helpful. When it's after lunch and I'm getting a little antsy for dinner and I have already made my dinner and it's already in the fridge waiting for me just to microwave real quick or to stick in our oven to heat up and warm up, it takes so much pressure off of myself to think that, I don't have to start from scratch and make the salad and cut the vegetables and all that kind of stuff. It's just a way to make it easy, and it works beautifully. That's what's been a really big change for me in my weight loss journey. The other hack I wanted to share with you guys, so this just happened. As I was writing this content for this information, I happened to be at a place where I ended up turning my data off. And that was kind of magical in helping me to focus and helping me to focus on the content for this live. So sometimes the prefrontal cortex just needs a little bit of help. Whatever we can do, there's no shame in that game. So that's what I want to share with you guys tonight. If you are interested in working with me, I am accepting one-on-one clients. I have in the bio, you can check out my link in the bio. There's a website there for you with a calendar link that you can just sign up for a coaching consultation. Pardon me, or even just DM me, and we'll set up a time that works for both of us, and we'll chat. And I would love to work with you and find out how I can help you achieve your goals. So, if anyone has any questions, I don't think I see any questions. So, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.